Good evening. It is 5:15 this Monday, October 24th, and the Carroll City Council is now in session. Would you all please rise and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, roll call. All is in attendance. Right off the bat, we have introduction of new employees. And Randy, I'm going to ask you to introduce the first two, if you're good with that. And then Chad, you'll be on deck. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure now to introduce you to Eric Steinkamp, who's behind the baseball desk. There's Eric. Eric started with the city January 31st, 22. He's been at work for a while, got in on a little bit of snow removal last year. He comes to the city with some past experience in electrical contracting, so that's always an additional benefit to the city. So Eric, this is the council and mayor, and vice versa.
Welcome aboard, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then you got another one?
I do. Also my pleasure to introduce Tim Stork. Tim started as a water treatment plant operator October 3rd of this year. And Tim has his grade 1 water distribution license and treatment license, and he has about 6 years experience in the field. So he's a valuable asset to add to the city workforce. Tim,
Good.
council.
Nice. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Okay, and Chad, you've got one?
Yeah, so this is Trent Steffes, originally Carroll person. He spent the last 8 years in Milwaukee. Yep, somewhere in there. He was hired for our aquatics and fitness program specialist. He brings a lot of fitness experience and is excited to really deep dive into the aquatic side. Yeah, I know, bad puns. But yeah, we started about 2 weeks ago. And we're very excited to have him.
Very good. Welcome aboard as well. Thank you. All right. Okay, item number 4 we have on the consent agenda tonight, approval of the minutes of the October 10th meeting. They were in our packet. Approval of the bills and claims, that was also in our packet. We have several licenses and permits. We have a renewal of a Class C liquor license with outdoor service and Sunday sales for Rancho Grande. We have a renewal of a Class C liquor license with Class C beer permit and Class B wine permit for the Fairway stores here in Carroll. And then we also have a renewal of a Class C beer permit with Class B wine permit and Sunday sales, Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh. And then we have one more, renewal of a Class C liquor license with catering privilege and Sunday sales for the Hy-Vee Market Cafe. We have applications for tax abatement under the Carroll Urban Revitalization Plan, and we have a change order number 2 for the Graham Park Drainage Ditch number 77 improvement project, and those are all in our packet. Is there any questions about the consent agenda? And if not, is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Kyle made the motion, seconded by JJ. Any further discussion? Hearing not, roll call, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Base? Yes. Bauer?
Yes.
Bornero?
Yes.
Schreck?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Item number 5, we have oral requests and communications from the audience. This is on any item that is not on tonight's agenda. Are there any present? None online? Okay, we will move on to item 6 under ordinances. And Brad, I'll turn it over to you. Carroll City Ordinance Chapter 1.14, Amendment Standard Penalty, and this will be the second reading. Brad?
Thank you, Mayor. Correct. It is a second reading. And just to refresh your memory, this ordinance has to do with the penalty for our city code violations. And the main reason that we are bringing it up for a change is that we want to remove the potential for confinement in a jail or prison if found guilty of a charge. This was due to some legislative change a few years back, which then would require the cities to pay for defense bills if someone was granted a public defender. So after working with the city attorney, we've made the language change on this and bring this to you for your second reading on it. My recommendation would be let's go ahead and waive the second and third and approve the amendment. I have not had any feedback from anyone on this, which I wasn't expecting to get any.
Perfect. I've heard none. Anything from the council? No. So then, per Brad's recommendation, he's seeking a motion to approve the second reading and perhaps, for your consideration, just waive the third. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, very well. We have a motion to adopt the Carroll City Ordinance under standard penalty and waive the third reading. Is that correct?
Approve the second, waive the third.
Correct, yeah, okay. And that was by Laverne and then Carolyn, right? Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Base. Yes. Seaman.
Yes.
Dirks.
Yes.
Shrek. Yes. Bauer.
Yes.
Bordenero.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Perfect, thank you. Item 6B is
Excuse
18.
me, Mr. Mayor,
I'm
can
sorry.
we now adopt the
I'm
ordinance?
sorry, I always miss that step, don't I? I am so
That's okay.
sorry. Yeah, we need a motion to adopt the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Laverne and seconded by JJ to adopt the city ordinance amendment for the standard penalty. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Bauer.
Yes.
Bordenero.
Yes.
Shrek. Yes. Seaman.
Yes.
Base. Yes. Dirks.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
Thanks, Laura.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll go to 6B, and that is ATV, golf cart, UTV, and snowmobile ordinance. And once again, Brad, the memo says this is still discussion, but we'll hear what you got to say, but
Okay.
ready for a reading or not?
Should be, yes. So this ordinance is for ATV, golf cart, UTV, and snowmobile operation on city streets. Just a reminder, kind of, I guess, a follow-up here. Well, ATVs would only be allowed for snow removal purposes. Golf carts to and from the golf course, with like a resolution that we had in the past, we're just gonna codify this. The UTV ordinance would allow the use of UTVs with some restrictions on city streets, with the, not allowing them on Highway 71 or 30, but they would be able to cross 71 and 30. And snowmobile ordinance would only allow snowmobile use during snow emergencies or when the roads are not plowed. That's kind of just a quick rundown of what the ordinance was. After our discussion at the last council meeting, I did make some changes to it based off of our discussion that we had. Also cleaned up the parking section of the ordinance also a little bit to clarify that a little bit. That was one of the officers who caught that and thought we'd make it a little bit more easy to understand since we do deal with parking on about a daily basis. So this ordinance is not in draft form anymore. It's ready to go. So it's chapter 75 for the City of Carroll Code of Ordinances. And my recommendation would be to have the first hearing and approve the first hearing of this ordinance.
Very good. Any questions?
I had not got any feedback from anybody after our discussion either since that meeting.
Okay. How about from the council? Any feedback or comments?
A couple happy that we're doing this. Yeah.
Good. Anyone else? So then you would be comfortable with seeking a first reading tonight?
Correct. Yeah, let's do the first reading, see if we get any more feedback, and if we need to make any changes, or if you guys get something, please let me know. I'd love to discuss it and keep moving forward with it.
And we could set the second reading for,
It'll be ready to come at the next council.
very good. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion for that. Second.
Okay, so there is a motion to approve the first reading of the ATV, golf cart, UTV, and snowmobile ordinance by Kyle, seconded by Tom. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shrek.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Base. Yes. Seaman.
Yes.
Dirks.
Yes.
Bordenero.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 7, under resolutions, we have Destination Iowa grant application. And Chad, I'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. If you remember, back in May, we applied for the Destination Iowa grant the first time. This grant attempt made it to scoring, but fell just shy of being funded for the Merchants Park renovation project After conversations with parties involved in this project, staff utilized Retail Coach to kind of help us collect some tourist data after the regular baseball seasons in the Iowa State baseball tournament. Upon reviewing these numbers with Iowa Economic Development, they encouraged us to include these numbers and resubmit under the category of economically significant development, which encourages development and enhancements to tourism opportunities in Iowa. So we are requesting the consideration and approval of this resolution endorsing the Destination Iowa grant under the economically significant development application for Merchants Park Improvement Project. And if the grant is awarded, commits $100,000 in ARPA funds, $100,000 in hotel motel funds, and $153,080 in lost funds to the overall $921,800 project. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very well. Any questions for Chad?
I'm glad they can find a new category and pursue it. It's good.
My only concern is we're committing $353,080 and not knowing specifically if we're gonna get the $230,000. If it's anything different than that, we're gonna bring it back to council?
That'd be appropriate, I
Okay.
believe.
All right,
Yep.
just so it's clear.
You have anything to add, gentlemen? Anything? Any input?
I can add a little bit to that, Laverne. Chris Whitaker, I'll wear my Region 12 hat right now. I'm working on the grant application. The Carroll Athletic Association has started a private fundraising campaign, and have $50,000 already secured. And this afternoon, Carroll County did commit $50,000 towards the project over 2 fiscal years. We've also identified a number of other grant application sources, including the Union Pacific Foundation, Peter Kiewit Foundation, and the Iowa West Foundation, to also hopefully supplement and bridge that gap after the city, county, and any private fundraising that's done. So we'll see where that all falls out, but hopefully we get to the magic number of 920.
What's the timeline, Chris? I mean, you submit the application when, and then they discern for how long, and when might you
Long
know?
would be the answer, Mark.
Is it?
Chad, what it takes last time, 4 or 5 months?
About 4 months before we heard back.
Yeah, with a no. So
Okay,
I would assume probably about the same amount of time.
okay.
Probably get it submitted in the next couple of weeks. And hopefully right after the first of the year, I would hope.
Okay, good. All right.
And we really need to get an answer by the first year, because if this isn't successful, the next step would be probably a CAT grant opportunity, which I think,
Due, I think, January 15th.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, that's really kind of contingent, because with state baseball, they want to start to see some of the commitments and improvements to be able to retain that here in Carroll. So it's tight.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Okay, so the recommendation is for consideration and approval of the resolution endorsing the Destination Iowa grant. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, very well. We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution endorsing the Destination Iowa grant by Carolyn and seconded by Misty. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Base. Yes. Seaman.
Yes.
Shrek. Yes. Dirk.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Ford-Nero.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you. Then, under 7B is the Merchants Park lease. And Chad, you're still up.
The Merchants are planning to return to historic Merchants Park for the 2023 season. Here to give us a brief recap and plans for the 2023 Mink League Championship campaign are representatives from Merchants Baseball.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council, Murray the Merchant, and of course, John Perrin, with the Carroll Merchants Baseball Club. We had an outstanding season in 2022. as our inaugural Mink League season. We played 43 games, 21 at home at historic Merchants Park, 22 on the road. 8,498 fans joined us at Merchants Park, which was outstanding. The support of the community, the business community, is just really makes this possible, along with the city. Our average home game attendance was 472, which, again, I think really, after having not played for 2 years, far exceeded our expectations. And just a little bit about the Merchants, the players and coaches. We had 33 coaches and players representing 18 colleges and universities from 13 states and Canada. So the focus on Carroll, Merchants Park, and bringing a wide variety of people from around the country to Carroll is immense. We're looking forward to 2023. We had our Mink annual meeting Saturday in Kansas City. Walked out of there with our schedule, which is always a challenge with the 3 teams utilizing Merchants Park. We're set to play 22 games, contingent, I guess, upon your approval of the lease. So, be happy to answer any questions.
Compared to the other cities that are doing this, what is our attendance?
Laverne, we'd probably be second average. St. Joe, population over 70,000, probably averages 3,000 to 4,000 people per game. I would think we would be second, followed very closely by Joplin, who is also almost 50,000. So,
And this will be something that we sign every year. You can't get multiple lease.
I guess the request of the council, or the request of city staff, was to have this an annual agreement.
Okay.
I don't know if that's Mike's fault or Dave's fault.
They didn't say
You
idea.
can blame Mike for that.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Bruner. So that forces myself and/or John and my good friend Murray to come back and see you every year.
Next year, you can do a multi-year contract.
Because you're not here.
When you're gone.
We're always happy to come talk about Merchants baseball.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Any other questions for Chris? We'd ask Murray to speak, but he can't, correct?
No,
So,
Murray's
all right.
kind of vanished.
That's all right, all right.
Murray's a sport, though.
All right. John, you good? Okay. Anything else? So the recommendation is considering approval of the attached resolution, approving the baseball stadium lease with the Carroll Merchants. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved. Second.
Was that Laverne and then Kyle? Okay, very good. So there's a motion and a second to approve that resolution. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Dirks.
Yes.
Bordenaro.
Yes.
Schreck.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Base.
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you.
We will see you on Memorial Day as
Yes.
our home opener.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
Thank you very much.
You said you're looking for your 23 season. I am too. That way we just bypass winter altogether and start playing baseball.
Fine with me.
I'm all right with that. Put it on fast forward. Thanks for being here, John and Murray. Chris, thank you. Okay, item number 7C is a Rolling Hills South Condominiums Urban Renewal Plan. And there are 2 resolutions attached to that. And Mike, it's yours.
Yeah, thank you, Mark and council. Before you this evening is a request, 2 requests. First is a resolution approving an engagement agreement with Allers and Cooney to reinstitute the development agreement with 704 Development Corporation. And second is then to set a public hearing on the proposal to enter into an agreement to reinstitute the agreement for private development with 74 Development Group. As you recall, the city did enter into a development agreement in August of 2018 related to the Rolling Hills South condominiums development. Now, this agreement did provide a $72,000 incentive as part of a match with a workforce housing tax credit program grant that they applied for and received. Now, this development agreement did require the public infrastructure be completed by June 1st of 2020, and that the construction of the buildings be completed on or by March 1st of 2021. Unfortunately, due to issues with COVID-19 and then extended supply chain and labor shortages, the contractors were unable to meet the construction deadline for the actual units themselves. They did request an extension to December 31st of 2023. And at the October 10th meeting, the council did direct staff to begin the process of amending the development agreement, and attached this to the staff report was a copy of the proposed development agreement. So with that, I guess I would ask if there's any questions. The recommendation would be to set the public hearing on the private development agreement for 5/15 on November 14th of 2022, and also approve the resolution on the engagement agreement. I'd be happy to answer any questions the council has this evening.
Very good, Mike. Is there any questions for Mike about the first issue at hand? Okay, so the recommendation is to approve the engagement letter with Allers and Cooney and to reinstitute the 704 development agreement. Is there a motion to that effect?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the engagement letter with Allers and Cooney and reinstitute the 704 Development Corp. Development agreement by Tom, seconded by Kyle. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Shrek,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Bornero,
Yes.
Base.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you. And then, Mike, you're still on for the second one.
I guess I'd be happy to answer any questions about setting the public hearing.
Essentially the same thing. So we just got to set the public hearing. Would it be in 2 weeks? Well, 3 weeks?
3 weeks, yes, November 14th.
November 14th. Any questions for Mike? Hearing none, I'd seek a motion to approve to fix the public hearing date for the proposal to enter agreement to reinstitute these agreements. Is there a motion to that effect?
Second.
Okay, made by Tom, seconded by JJ. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Bornero,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Base. Yes. Bauer,
Yes.
Shrek.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you. Okay, item 7D, under villas, is villas at Governor's Field Urban Renewal Plan. And Mike, once again?
Thank you, Mark and council. Again, this is an engagement letter, again, with Allers and Cooney on developing the development agreement in the urban renewal area for the villas at the Governor's Field Urban Renewal Plan. Now, the Overland Park Property Group was awarded a low-income housing tax credit grant from the Iowa Finance Authority to complete the construction of a proposed new 35-unit affordable housing community. And this drawing kind of shows the area where this will be developed. Now, this will be just east of 3rd Street Extended. This 3rd Street just north of the Mid-American Energy Facility along Grant Road. The development itself will be made up of 35 units of 2 and 4 bedroom townhome style apartments that will be ADA compliant. Additionally, the project will involve the developer completing 3rd Street to the project site itself, and the public street and infrastructure being extended to their property. Now, construction is anticipated to occur in 2023, 2024, with the project opening in 2024. It's anticipated the project itself will be about a $9 million investment. Now, in exchange for the development, the developer is requesting that the city provide tax increment financing rebates for the 3rd Street extended. Now, $150,000 will be passed through from Region 12 Council of Government, and then the remaining of that, up to $685,000, would be reimbursed through tax increment financing. Now, the incentive itself would be subject to an annual appropriation. Now, the terms and conditions of the development agreement are still being worked out, but in general, they will be made on an annual basis once the project is built and constructed and there's tax base generated off this development. Now, staff is continuing to work with Nathan Overberg from Allers and Cooney to complete the urban renewal plan and development agreement. Early draft, again, is the developer would install the road itself, would pay all the costs up front, and then would be reimbursed over up to a 20-year period for the cost of that road infrastructure and water and sewer and stormwater within the future 3rd Street right-of-way. So this evening, what we're requesting is just the council's consideration and approval of a resolution approving an engagement agreement with Allers and Cooney. And in future meetings, the urban renewal plan itself and development agreement would be presented to council for your consideration. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the council has this evening on this.
You answered one of my questions already, related to the infrastructure that the developer puts in. Are they still seeking the minimum assessment agreement?
That's yet to be determined.
Still, okay.
But, so what, for everyone's benefit, I mean, one of the things that we're in negotiations with the developer is kind of the timeline of how quickly it would be paid off. So one of the things that they may seek is a minimum assessment agreement for the development itself. And really what that means is they may want a higher tax value initially. They would have a higher tax bill that they'd pay, a higher tax liability. They would pay that. And then they're in turn able to pay the debt off that they will have quicker. And so we're still working through those details with both the developer and the Carroll County Assessor's Office to establish kind of what would be the maximum that people would feel reasonable for that.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily impact the Allers and Cooney agreement whatsoever?
No.
And then the second question I've got, this is probably a dumb question, is the attorney's fees are reimbursable via the TIF?
Correct.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Any other questions for Mike?
And the urban renewal plan is being written in that fashion.
Okay. What other questions do we have for Mike? Okay, none. So we would, per recommendation, is the approval of the resolution approving the engagement agreement with Allers and Cooney for the Villas at Governor's Field Urban Renewal Plan. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Carolyn, seconded by Kyle, for the approval of a resolution approving the engagement agreement with Allers and Cooney. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Jerks.
Yes.
Bornero.
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Shrek.
Yes.
Base. Yes. Resolution is approved.
Good, thank you. And finally, we have a Biokinemetrics Holdings LLC and DMBA Properties and Consulting, the annual tax increment finance appropriation resolution. And Laura, that's yours.
Yes, thank you, Mark. Council, a number of years ago, back in 2016, the city did enter into a development agreement with Biokinemetrics Holdings and DMBA Properties. The agreement required that the developer construct a 17,000 square foot building, along with create 10 new jobs in that building. In exchange, the city would provide a TIF grant equal to the incremental property taxes generated and to be paid to the developer over 15 years, not to exceed a total grant amount of $300,000. In that agreement, there was a provision for what we've learned to do annual appropriations. This is not the first time we've done this for this developer, so that we've been doing this for a number of years. And the construction of the building has been completed, obviously, and this year the developer certified that there are 10 jobs in that building, and the certification was included with the agenda packet that was supplied by the developer. So tonight we're asking council to approve the resolution before you to appropriate the TIF collections for the fiscal 24 year to be rebated back per the agreement.
Okay. Thank you, Laura.
Roughly that dollar amount, because I know that's been asked in the past, is around $20,000, give or take a few thousand here and there. It just depends on where the TIF rate lands for the fiscal year.
Okay, very good. I had asked Mike earlier in this week what some of you, the veterans on the council, you've been through this a few times, but it's my understanding that the only requirement that we've had is a self-certification, that essentially the owner just signs a document saying that that's good and there's nothing else needed. Is that pretty well
That is
the
true,
way it's
yes.
been? So no other documentation required. Any other questions for Mike or Laura? So the recommendation is still to approve the resolution obligating funds from the Urban Renewal District to DMB Properties and Consulting. Is there a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Kyle, seconded by Carolyn, to approve the appropriation for the resolution for the appropriation of the payment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shrek?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Base?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Bordenaro?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Very good. Okay. Moving right along, we are, didn't miss anything, did I? Okay, so we are at item F, and the health insurance partial self-funding administration proposal. And Laura, you're still up.
Yes, thank you, Mark and council. For many years, the city has been partially self-funding our health insurance plan that we offer to our employees, where we buy a higher deductible plan from Wellmark and then reimburse to a lower level for a deductible and a out-of-pocket maximum. The city began working with Cable Business Services way back when we started doing this. I apologize, I don't remember. It's been at least 10 years ago or longer, I think, that we've been doing this. Over the years, Cable Business Services has been sold to other businesses, and now it's currently called iSolved Benefit Services. iSolved is mostly focused on flex spending administration, COBRA administration, health savings account, and health reimbursement accounts, and are not necessarily a true funding third-party administrator, a TPA. And more recently, we've had some struggles with their customer service model. It being bought out, Cable Business was a more locally owned company, really prided themselves on really good customer service, and now it's been bought out by quite a larger company, and their customer service has really deteriorated. So in discussions with our health insurance consultant Benefit Source Inc., or BSI, they had recommended that we look at a company called Employee Benefit Systems Inc., or EBS. We received a proposal from them to provide this service, and they are a true TPA, where they will work with the providers, the healthcare providers, and pay them directly instead of it being funneled through the employees to pay, which is what we currently were doing. So this is a more accurate, maybe, if that's the right word, correct model to be doing this practice of paying for the partial self-funding. The quoted fee is $7 per participating employee per month, plus a one-time setup fee of $500. We would recommend or ask that we could get this implemented, working with EBS to implement it as of January 1st, and they would hold that rate for an 18-month period until the end of June of '24, when we would renew with that cycle, so a year and a half. Are there any questions about the proposal?
Are we actually coming off of renewal from cable, or are we
No.
losing money with them at all by moving away from them?
Are
Are we
we?
losing money by moving it away from them? I mean, have we already promised them?
No, we are not losing any money, yeah, no. No, and it's not a renewal with them,
That's okay.
but it is allowable to move mid-year.
Okay.
We would work with BSI to get this set up. We're not the first ones that BSI has worked with an employer to move from one company to another, and they've had really good luck and success with working with EBS.
What other questions do we have for Laura on this subject?
Did I miss the number in here? How many employees are we talking about?
Oh, I did not put it there, you did not miss it. We roughly have 57, 58 employees on the plan.
Very good. Anything else? The recommendation is the consideration and approval of a resolution approving the proposal from EBS. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion from JJ and a second from Kyle, and I should probably add, approve the resolution proposal for employee benefits systems at the amount of $7 per participating employee per month and a one-time setup fee for $500. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Base?
Yes.
Shrek?
Yes.
Bordenaro?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Perfect, thank you. Moving into item number 8 under reports A, we have a city manager job description and position profile. And Mike, I turn that over to you, I believe, don't I?
I would like to talk on that a little bit first. There's some things on this that I'm not sure how we can talk about without doing the closed session first, going over that. Can we do that, Mr. Lawyer?
Are you motioning that you move this item?
Yeah, because there's some things that we're going to talk about in closed sessions that will be effective in this.
I think you can do that by motion.
Okay. I'd be willing to make that motion if someone seconds it.
I'll second that.
Okay, very well. So we have a motion and a second, first by Laverne, seconded by Kyle, to move item 8A, the city manager job description and position profile, to the end of tonight's agenda.
After number 14.
After the closed sessions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dirks?
Yes.
Bornero? Shrek?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Base?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, you'll be my catch fence to make sure I don't adjourn by the time we get. All right, thank you. Item 8B, Carroll Recreation Center Improvements Project, and we have a change order. Chad, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. During continued construction on the north end of the Carroll Recreation Center, added work to help stabilize the north ADA ramp, which would allow you into the 24-hour access door, was discovered. This work would include extra geogridding and added stabilization to the site due to poor soil conditions. This is similar to the area under and surrounding the new storage addition as well. This change order also includes a $107 credit associated with adjusting frame modifications for this project. I recommend City Council consider and approve the attached change order number 2 in the amount of $6,068 for the Carroll Recreation Center Improvement Project. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time.
I could also note Brad from RDG is online if you have any specific questions for RDG.
Brad, this is Mark, the mayor, asking mostly for myself and any other council members or people present. Can you give us a little bit of understanding as to why this occurred? I mean, we had the change order just last week on the other side, and why was perhaps this one missed?
Good afternoon, Brad here with RDG. So the contractor started excavation for the north addition, moving from the east to the west. So they excavated the east part of the north addition, the storage addition, as Chad mentioned. And since we're moving keeping the existing stoop in place for the 24-hour access and moving the ramp to the west side to accommodate the addition. So now they had just gotten into the excavation for that piece and kind of ran into the same soil conditions and stabilization from that standpoint.
So just another unforeseen soil issue then, pretty well explains it. I'm not a geologist.
I mean, the soils report was included as part of the project manual for reference, not technically part of the contract documents. So all that information was available for reference. But as we oftentimes see in a competitively bid project, whether baiting included monies for that work or not, technically it wasn't part of the contract documents. So we're trying to move forward with the project, keep it on schedule. I know that we have contingencies in place. Obviously, our goal is never to spend that money if we don't have to. But conditions like these allow us to use that money and keep the project going.
Brad, this is Tom. How many projects have you done in Carroll?
Me specifically,
Yeah.
I know RDG's been part of over a dozen, I would believe. Me specifically, this would be my first project in the city of Carroll proper. Yep.
Out of that dozen, how many soil conditions have we run into where we either don't test the soil or we come back and have future expenditures for bad soil? Do you have any of that information? I mean, it sounds to me
That I
like Carroll's
could
got
not
horrible
speak to
soil.
right offhand, no. I know it's always a goal with most every new construction or renovation project is to anticipate and go through soil borings at the beginning of the project, just so we can hopefully anticipate some of those conditions.
And was that done on this project?
It was done, yes.
So is this like an oversight, or is this soil boring project something we just shouldn't do in the future and just assume that we have bad soil, or how does this work?
It's always good to do with any project. It helps us and try to anticipate and uncover, what's there. Obviously, as you start to dig and excavate where new construction is going, or renovation to an existing building, that's the only time you'll ever uncover what's beneath the surface, right? So the soil report had some of those, some of that information in there as it related to the borings that were taken, and we again included that in the project manual specifically for reference moving forward in construction. How that was documented within the construction documents, as it related to our civil sheets, not a lot of site work, only for the north addition itself. So those conditions weren't specifically documented within the construction documents.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Chad or Brad? So keep the project moving forward, I would seek a motion to consider and approve the change order number 2 in the amount of $6,068 for the Carroll Rec Center. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Carolyn, seconded by Laverne, to approve the change order number 2, the amount of $6,068 at the Carroll Rec Center. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Bauer,
Yes.
Schreck,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Base,
Yes.
Bordenaro.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Very good. Okay, item 8C, we have to set a public hearing date for the fiscal year 23 budget amendment number 1. And Laura, I believe that's yours too.
Yes, thank you, Mark and council. Before you tonight is information for a budget amendment number 1 for fiscal 23. The items included in here are all items that would be what I would call carryover projects, things that were budgeted in fiscal 22 that were not completed as of June 30th of 2022, with the exception of one, which includes how the council has already allocated some of the funds for the American Rescue Plan or the ARPA funds. At the time that we put together the budget last year, it was unknown of how we were really going to allocate some of those funds, but some discussions have been had since then. So I've included some information on how councils have talked about allocating those, including for the housing incentives, some to go towards the rec center project and towards the Graham. No, I don't even believe I think I have anything in there for Merchants Park at this point, because that was just decided or talked about tonight, but we will work on that when we prepare our fiscal '24 budget. But everything else in here includes items, equipment purchases, the emerald ash tree, continue to do removal of those ash trees, fitness equipment upgrades, things for the rec center, for cemetery mower equipment. So some of those items where it was approved, and some of the items actually have been purchased and paid for already that were in the '22 budget, but now we're looking to put those in the '23 budget for our expenditures. So tonight sets a public hearing, but then this does set that dollar amount. So I would entertain any questions council may have for this. If there's any specific questions about the listing that was included with this item.
Any questions for Laura? And you're setting, you want the date for November 14th?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
There was one that I wasn't familiar with, and I think it was, there was like rec center. It was the improvements in the theater. Here it is, theater improvements. It'll be paid by Hotel Motel. And can you just refresh me what those were?
So that has some funding that actually has been, I'm gonna call it kind of earmarked and set aside in the hotel motel for a number of years for eventual improvements that we would want to do, but I know it hasn't been completely identified what
Okay.
those may be.
All right, so that's yet forthcoming, and we're just
Yeah.
making room for it.
Yes, yes.
And I know this has been in the budget for
It's been
3
quite
or
a-
4 years.
Yeah, it's been
and
quite a
they've
few
had
years. Yeah.
They've had a number of conversations with theater groups over the years, really geared towards some of the lighting improvements that need to be done, because a lot of the
Okay.
lighting systems is really out of date and problematic, and some of the sound system doing some improvements there.
Okay, it was just new to me. I don't know if it new to anybody else, but I just, the rest of them all made sense, and I'd been around long enough for those things. So, any other questions for Laura and the proposed budget amendment? So what we are seeking is to set the public hearing for that budget amendment on November 14th. Is there a motion to that effect?
Second?
Okay, we have a motion by Misty, second by 2J. And we have to set the public hearing for November 14th for the first budget amendment of fiscal year '23. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Shrek,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Base,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Bordenero.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Very good, thank you. Okay, committee reports, none. Comments from the mayor, there are none. Comments from the city council? None. Comments from the city manager?
I just want to express to the council this evening my heartfelt thank you for allowing me to be here for the last 6 years. It's been an absolute pleasure to work serving you and the citizens of the city of Carroll. I just reminisce on all the things we've done over the last 6 years, and it really has been really outpouring of pride. It's been a great experience, so thank you for that. Carroll, it just has been an awesome experience. We have continued to position, I feel, the city of Carroll as an economic leader in a regional hub in west central Iowa. And Carroll really continues to be emulated by communities throughout Iowa, and I think that's a really great point of pride. I want to thank the mayor and the council, current and past, for the opportunity to be here, and the citizens of the city of Carroll for giving me the chance to be here back in 2016. Thank you for that. You know, a big part of me being tonight and just saying this, and really the sad point, saying goodbye to my coworkers, each and every one of them. It's been just a outstanding experience with them. I've enjoyed our time working together. You know, and really thank you for the friendship we've had to all of you guys. And I really want to thank each of our department directors, Brad, Randy, Laura, Wendy, short time, but Chad and Dan, you guys have been great. Your guidance has been invaluable, so thank you for that. And I just want to tell you that I think Carroll is continues to be, because of what each and every one of you do on the council table, is really a great place to live, work, play, and invest. You guys should remember that as you go forward, that Carroll is just an amazing thing. We've done a lot with great help and support of amazing staff in concert with caring and committed elected officials. So thank you for what you do in stepping up and being part of our community. And I just really only wish the very, very best for Carroll and the Carroll community now and into the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Well, I'm not going to add anything to that. Anybody else have any comments? Yeah. Pass the Kleenex. Mike, Godspeed from all of us, and we're going to still see you next few days.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that was your last crack at that.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we are now at the end of the regular agenda, and we have two items yet remain, and that is the closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 20.17, and that is for union negotiations, and I'll need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Tom, second by Kyle. To go into closed session. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shrek? Yes. Bordenaro?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Base?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
And
Thank
just
you.
for the benefit of the media, before we cut YouTube off, we will have the last item after closed session, so we'll come back. I'll text media just to let you know when we're back into open session on YouTube. Okay?
Thank you.
So give us a few minutes to get stuff shut down and ready for closed session.